this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from.
Good evening, friends. Today, September 19th, 2025, we're diving headfirst into a firestorm that's shaking up the media world and reigniting the battle over truth in America. Late-night host Jimmy Kimmel is out. His show, Jimmy Kimmel Live, pulled off the air indefinitely by ABC after he spread what many are calling disgusting lies about the assassination of conservative titan Charlie Kirk. Kimmel's Monday night monologue falsely suggested that Tyler James Robinson, the 22-year-old suspect in Kirk's murder, was aligned with MAGA, sparking outrage from conservatives, President Donald Trump, and even some across the aisle. President Trump didn't hold back, celebrating the suspension on Truth Social and doubling down to reporters. Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings, more than anything else, and he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. But Kimmel, defiant as ever, reportedly refuses to apologize and plans to double down on his attacks against MAGA. Friends, this isn't just about a TV host losing his gig. It's about a media elite pushing a twisted narrative to smear a murdered patriot and a movement millions strong. If you truly want justice for Charlie Kirk, watch this report carefully and in its entirety. Our goal isn't to defame anyone, but to expose the truth. If you stand with Charlie, watch fully and share your thoughts in the comments. Negative comments from half-watchers, please stay away. Let's unpack Kimmel's lies, the fallout, and what this means for the fight Charlie ignited. Buckle up. This is a wild ride. Let's set the stage. On September 10th, 2025, Charlie Kirk, the 31-year-old founder of Turning Point USA, was gunned down at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, during his American Comeback Tour. A crowd of 3,000 watched in horror as a single bullet from a rooftop struck Charlie in the neck at 12:23 p.m. Mountain Time. Videos captured the chaos, students screaming, security scrambling, Kirk collapsing in the gazebo. He was pronounced dead at Timpanogos Regional Hospital, leaving behind his wife Erica and their 2 young children. The suspect, Tyler James Robinson, a third-year electrical apprentice with a recent leftward political shift, surrendered 33 hours later after his parents recognized him in FBI photos. Indicted on 7 counts, including aggravated murder, Robinson faces the death penalty for what prosecutors call a premeditated attack driven by hatred for Kirk's political expression. The nation mourned. President Trump called him legendary. Vice President J.D. Vance escorted his body on Air Force 2, and vigils from Phoenix to Scottsdale lit up with prayers. Turning Point USA, Charlie's brainchild, saw 54,000 new chapter inquiries, doubling his goal of 20,000, proving his movement is unstoppable. Now, enter Jimmy Kimmel. On Monday, September 15th, 2025, just 5 days after Kirk's murder, Kimmel took to his Jimmy Kimmel Live stage and dropped a bombshell in his opening monologue. Here's what he said. "We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it." In between the finger pointing, there was grieving on Friday. The White House flew the flags at half-staff. This wasn't a slip of the tongue, it was a deliberate attempt to paint Robinson, a left-leaning radical with a trans partner and texts railing against Kirk's hatred, as a MAGA supporter. The backlash was swift and ferocious. ABC announced that Jimmy Kimmel Live was preempted indefinitely, and Next Star Media Group, which operates ABC-affiliated markets, condemned Kimmel's recent comments concerning the killing of Charlie Kirk and replaced his show with alternative programming. President Trump wasted no time, posting on Truth Social late Wednesday, September 18th. "Great news for America. The ratings challenge Jimmy Kimmel Show is cancelled. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done. Kimmel has 0 talent and worse ratings than even Colbert, if that's possible. That leaves Jimmy and Seth 2 total losers on fake news NBC. Their ratings are also horrible. Do it, NBC." President DJT Trump didn't stop there. Speaking to reporters, he hammered Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings, more than anything else, and he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. You can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent, but here's the kicker. Kimmel's show wasn't exactly struggling. In 2025, Jimmy Kimmel Live ranked second in overall late-night viewership and first among the coveted 18 to 49 demographic, a goldmine for advertisers. So, was this really about ratings, or did Kimmel cross a line by smearing a murdered conservative icon and MAGA? Reports indicate he's doubling down, refusing to apologize, and planning to escalate his attacks on the movement. This defiance has sparked a firestorm, with some calling for federal probes into his claims. The evidence against Kimmel's narrative is overwhelming. Robinson's texts to his roommate and partner, Lance Twiggs, reveal a clear motive: hatred for Kirk's conservative views. In one message, Robinson wrote, "I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out," and detailed his plan, hiding the rifle, changing outfits, engraving bullets with memes like, "Hey fascist, catch." His voter record shows him as unaffiliated but inactive, and classmates describe him as quiet, not a MAGA zealot. Twiggs, a transitioning male, cooperated with police, but his own troubled past, drugs, radical rants, raises questions about their circle. Then there's George Zinn, the 71-year-old decoy, who shouted, "I shot him, now shoot me," after the attack, later charged with possessing child abuse images. These details paint a picture of a left-leaning radical, not a Trump supporter. Yet Kimmel's monologue ignored this, accusing MAGA of desperately trying to characterize this kid as anything other than one of them. The lie didn't just sting, it infuriated a nation grieving Charlie's loss. The reaction was seismic. Caitlin Sinclair, former Turning Point Action spokeswoman, joined a broadcast to slam Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel lost his job because he spread lies saying that MAGA and our people are the ones responsible here. This is the exact same type of rhetoric that created the monster that murdered my friend Charlie. She argued that if someone had questioned George Floyd's death in a 2020 comedy monologue, they'd be fired on the spot. So why should conservatives face a double standard? Sinclair called it a warning message to mainstream media. Pushing their twisted narratives as truth is no longer going to stand. The American mind is breaking on X. Users echoed her fury. At 45, Quester posted, "Kimmel's lies about Charlie Kirk's killer being MAGA are disgusting. Good riddance to his show." Another user wrote, "Charlie Kirk was right in 2017. Jimmy Kimmel isn't funny. ABC finally got it right." The media pylon didn't stop with Kimmel. Former President Barack Obama, speaking at an event, took a swipe at Kirk's legacy. "I didn't know Charlie Kirk. I was generally aware of some of his ideas. I think those ideas were wrong, but that doesn't negate the fact that what happened was a tragedy and that I mourn for him and his family." The crowd's applause at "those ideas were wrong" drew sharp criticism. Sinclair responded, "It's disgusting." Obama thinks Charlie's ideas of praying for Jesus Christ's guidance, rational debate with students, or marriage between a man and a woman were wrong. There is no but when it comes to murder. Obama also blamed Trump, saying extreme views were not in my White House, but were embraced by Trump's administration. This narrative, that Kirk's rhetoric or MAGA's influence somehow incited the shooting, has been echoed by outlets like CNN, where Caitlin Collins claimed, "We don't have a motive yet," despite clear evidence of Robinson's left-wing leanings. An ABC News reporter even called Robinson's texts to Twiggs touching, focusing on his "my love" messages while downplaying the murder plot. Cleveland's largest newspaper podcast speculated the shooter was probably conservative, ignoring evidence. MSNBC's claim that the internet isn't cheering Kirk's death was debunked by TikTok videos celebrating the tragedy. This media distortion has real-world consequences. At Texas State University, a student imitated Kirk's assassination while threatening Tipusay members at a memorial, leading to their expulsion. Democratic Congressman Jerry Nadler repeatedly misnamed Kirk as Charlie King while arguing his murder shouldn't curb free speech, prompting outrage over his carelessness. C.J. Pearson, RNC Youth Advisory Council co-chair, blasted the media. "Conservatives don't speak like this. Supporters of President Trump don't speak like this. This was someone corrupted by the woke mind virus." He called Kimmel's lies effed up and supported a potential FCC investigation, as Commissioner Brendan Carr hinted at probing Kimmel's network for spreading falsehoods. Amid this chaos, Charlie's legacy burns brighter. Erica Kirk, named TPUSA's new CEO on September 18th, vowed to make it the biggest thing this nation has ever seen. Her Instagram tribute, "Forever admiring your greatness," shared a photo of Charlie at UVU, reflecting on their basketball court dates and his "Work Harder, Be Better" bracelet he gifted to a student. "This is your Jordan photo," she wrote, "permanently etched in my heart." Erica's September 12th speech declared, "The cries of this widow will echo like a battle cry." The September 21st memorial at State Farm Stadium, featuring Trump, Vance, and others, will draw thousands. TPUS's growth, 54,000 chapter inquiries, shows Charlie's vision thriving. The Charlie effect is sweeping the nation, with thousands buying Bibles and attending church for the first time, inspired by his faith. Sinclair shared, "I went to church for the first time in years because of Charlie." This revival, paired with Erica's leadership, signals an unstoppable movement. But questions linger. Why did Kimmel push a baseless narrative? Was it to deflect from the shooter's radicalism or score points against MAGA? And what about the media's broader role in fanning division? Now the question is, what punishment should Jimmy Kimmel and those who spread lies about Charlie Kirk face? Should Tyler Robinson's family or others who misled the nation be held accountable? What's your opinion? Share it in the comments below.